Hello and welcome to lesson 15.5, Moving Objects for the University of Idaho's CS112 Dual Credit class. Alright, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be working with those rockets that we've been working on in the last couple couple lessons. So what you're going to be doing, we're going to be making it so that they can move. But before we can get there, we do have a little bit of warm up. Go ahead and try this out. Feel free to pause this and type that code out. But as you're kind of running that code, think about it. What are your results? How do you think you can incorporate this? And where would you need to put the move function? Notice where display and move are already. So at this point, pause it if you haven't. We're going to continue on. So in the warm-up, some of your results, what you should have gotten, you should have had like this little green like UFO type thing going across the screen, and whenever it got to that far right edge, it should restart at the left-hand side. It's almost like it's wrapping around. How do you think this can be incorporated into your object program? You're going to be able to use it to help your object move across the screen. Whenever you think of a rocket, it's going to need to be going up, and then we kind of want it to loop, otherwise it gets pretty boring pretty fast. Where would you need to put the new move function? We're going to have to put it in the methods section. So last class, we were able to develop that program that used the class feature to make our rocket. You should, on your own, have your own kind of drawing that you've been working on with our rockets as well. So what we're going to be doing now is we're going to go in and change our rockets. So we're going to start with the rocket code that we started with, or that we did last time. Note that we do distinguish the different tabs in this bold heading. So this is the main tab, and this is the rocket tab. And so go ahead, and if you don't have that already, get that in. If you missed how to do this, make sure you go and watch that 15.4 video. Otherwise, definitely, and if you don't have access to that, ask your teacher, email whoever kind of got you this video and see if you can get that extra video. But we are moving on. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to add some more rockets. Why? Why not? So if we go check out processing, right now we only have one rocket. So let's go ahead and add some more rockets. And so the way that we do this is I'm actually going to change some stuff. Instead of saying my rocket, I'm going to call this my rocket 1. And everything's going to flip out. It's like, oh my gosh. So we're just going to keep continuing on, though. We'll fix everything as we get there. So rocket, we're going to say my rocket 2. Now let's go ahead and change this to my rocket 1, and now we're going to make my rocket 2 be a new rocket, and let's give it some stuff. So let's make it 100, let's make this 50, let's make this 100, and let's make the color, let's see, we have red, let's make it green. 0, 255, 0, semicolon, or whoops, not semicolon. Finish off color than that. Oops. It'd help if I spelled rocket right. Okay. Now, the one thing that people always forget to do is they do this stuff, but they forget to tell it to show up. So the first thing is I need to change this to my rocket 1, but then I need to say, hey, my rocket 2 display. This is using that dot syntax that we've talked about before. Okay. All right. Now let's make a move. We have the ability to draw several rockets, and what we're going to do is we're going to actually make a move function in the rocket class, and we're going to make a speed parameter so that we can tell each rocket to be a different speed. We're going to then have to call move in the draw, and that's another place where a lot of people mess up is they don't call that move. They don't call that thing that needs to actually happen. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a move function to the rocket class. This is below and outside of display. And so I'll show you how that looks. So if I go to my rocket tab, and So this is my whole display thing, all the way to here. And if you kind of click next to this bracket, it should tell you where it ends off. So we're going to add a new one. So we're going to call this void move. And again, we're not expecting it to return any values. That's why it's the void. So whenever we're talking rockets, kind of the best thing to kind of think about almost is, oh, it's going to be, it's moving up, which remember is the opposite of what we're thinking of. So what we're going to say is we're going to say y equals the y minus, let's call it rocket speed. And that hasn't been defined, so it's probably going to light up on us saying, hey, this isn't a thing. And this makes it so that it's going up. Or, I don't know why it's not. I don't know. Okay, so if, and this is that wraparound thing, y is less than the negative rocket size. This way, if it goes off the screen, it doesn't just magically appear off. It just kind of, it goes all the way off first. What we want it to do, oops, is say that y equals the height plus the rocket size. Now, what this does is this makes it so that it goes all the way to the top. And what this does is, oh, this really checks if it's all the way at the top. What this does is it checks if, oops, I forgot a Y in here. Oh, actually I didn't. I wanted that in there. This way it starts below the bottom. So half of it just doesn't randomly show up. And we're missing a bracket. And what we need to do is up here at the very top, we need to actually define rocket speed, or tell it that a thing called rocket speed exists. Don't know why it didn't quite light up on us, probably because we're, yeah, no, it should have. And then in the constructors, we need to tell it some stuff. The main thing that we're going to do is we want each one to be different. So we're going to say comma, and what we're going to do is we're going to say, let's go to float, and let's go ahead and call it speed. And so what we're going to say is rocket speed equals speed. Oh, I'm missing another curly bracket on that one. So now if I check everything out, all right, it looks okay. However, we're not quite done yet. What we need to do is we need to add speed to our parameter. So if we go back in here, it's already lit up. It's saying, hey, it's expecting some stuff. What it expects is it expects us to tell a speed. So I'm going to give this one a speed of 5. I'm going to give this one a speed of 10. That way one's faster than the other. And at this point, I actually probably would have changed this to be like small red rocket and large green rocket. That way I can kind of help to identify which one should be going faster and slower. So now if I were to push play, they aren't moving. Why not? Well, the reason that they're not moving is the fact that we actually didn't tell them to move. Nowhere have we actually told them, hey, you should be moving. So what we do is we go back into here and we say, all right, we had them display. Now we're going to go my rocket 1 move. and my rocket to, oops, move. Now if I hit play, I have my green rocket going faster than my red rocket. Okay. Now, this assignment is a little different from those that we've had in the past. This assignment has two parts. The first part is to program, and the second part is more written. So the first part is add the following object programming from assignment 15. Or to your program from 15.4. Make 3 different instances of the same object, 3 rockets. For each instance, have a different size, color, and speed. They should all be moving. Do they have to go up and down? No. Can they go in left and right? Sure. Make sure you comment on all sections of that code, and then submit the assignment as a zipped folder. Remember, it needs to be zipped with everything inside of it. For the next part, the last part, write a one-page paper on object-oriented programming. Be sure to include a description of what object-oriented programming is, how object-oriented programming can be used to simplify programs, and provide a description of each of these 3 elements of each of the 3 elements of a class in processing. If you need a refresher on that, it's available on the last video, and it has kind of what all of those things are. As always, happy programming.